morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. Your love changes everything. There's something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love, something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing.
Rooted Men, good morning. Good to have you on board. Pastor Tom, let me pull that out of there for a second. Uh, Here at the office and going to get a few things done. Hope you guys had a blessed Christmas. I hope that some of that still lingers as you go into this week. Hope you had a chance to see family and friends and maybe just settle in a bit and have some focus on the kingdom of God, maybe not so much the kingdom of this world. Um, let's see who's on board first. Are we live everywhere? Yes, we are live everywhere that we're supposed to be live. That's very good. Um, I hear that other people that do YouTube videos and people who do things like I'm doing, um, they're encouraging people to sign up for Rumble, fearing that YouTube is going to be the next bastion of censorship. So just reminding you that we are on Twitter, or which is now X, and we are also on Rumble. Let's see, I'm on board. Good morning, Rooted Men. Ken Gooch, good morning, fellow brothers in arms. Chuck B, good morning. Brian Flaming, good morning. We've got about 4 or 5 other guys or people out there as well. We've got a couple on Rumble, and I might be the only one on Twitter right now. I'm not sure. So let's get at it. Let me share my screen again. And I think it was on Friday that maybe Glenn dealt with Jesus driving out this impure spirit in Capernaum at a synagogue, actually at a church, where a demon possessed man entered into uh, the synagogue. And I want you to notice some things, because Mark is writing to Romans and he's trying to make Jesus look like a military leader, a spiritual military leader. Notice that the guy that's possessed by the impure spirit cries out first. What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. I just want you to realize that Mark is making sure that these Gentile Roman people see Jesus as like this warrior king, like they saw Caesar or they saw some of the Roman soldiers. Notice how he records the authority. Be quiet, said Jesus sternly. Come out of him. What happens? The impure spirit comes out just like he commanded it to be. What was the response? People were amazed. What is this? A new teaching with what? Authority. He even gives orders. Notice the phrase gives orders, like a military leader would give orders. He gives orders to impure spirits and they have to obey him. This idea is he is a King of kings and the Lord of lords, the King of heaven and the King of this earth. He commands authority over everything. Why is that so important? To the Gentiles, that would be important because Jesus is like the leaders that they respect on steroids. I mean, he is like a million times more than any of them. Also, he's dealing with stuff that matters. Demon possession, healing the sick. He's making things better where many kings make things worse. Jesus is restoring life where many kings out of power destroy life. Well, the section I have for you starts here. Jesus heals many. As soon as they left the synagogue, notice immediately, as soon, immediately. Like Jesus is always this king that's ready and aware of everything that he's going to be facing. As soon as they left the synagogue, they went with James and John to the home of Simon Andrew. They went to Simon's house. Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they immediately told Jesus about it, right? They're beginning to realize if something's the matter, go get Jesus. I don't know, somewhere that's got to become part of firmly rooted language. When something's the matter, go get Jesus. Maybe that's a sermon series. Maybe we got to make a t-shirt. I mean, I don't know. When something is the matter, go get Jesus. Lazarus dies or gets sick, the women send for Jesus. People went to go to Jesus because they thought he might heal. Nicodemus goes to Jesus. When you're uncertain, when you're unsure, when you don't know what to do, when you're lost and confused, go find Jesus. Jesus went to her, took her hand, and helped her up. Like, this is no big thing. Like, I'm just going to reach in and grab this sick woman, bedridden woman. I'm going to grab her hand and I'm going to raise her up. The fever left her and she began to wait on them. She began to do what she was called to do, which was to serve. So he not only is casting out demons, but he's healing the sick. That evening after sunset, the people brought to Jesus all the sick and the demon possessed. And gentlemen, this devotion probably isn't just for us men, but this one should be for the whole firmly rooted congregation. Why did people from the area bring the sick and demon possessed to Jesus? Why? How did they know? Because people shared good news. I don't know why we don't share the good news of Jesus Christ, but we just don't. The enemy has locked us up in a delusion that somehow that's too religious and too fanatical, when these people are saying, Key, I got to get somebody Jesus. I know somebody, I know somebody, I know somebody, I know somebody, and they just bring them. They're not trying to persuade them. They're not trying to do anything but get their friend healed. Who do you know that needs Jesus? Who do you know that's wrestling with demonic influences, illnesses? Because the church has been empowered to do the same kinds of things. We've seen demons cast out of people. We have seen people go through chain breaking spiritual processes where they're no longer the same as they were before. We've seen people physically healed. I just got to say that throughout scripture, people just kept bringing people to Jesus, but I have not seen that in my whole ministry in the 20th and 21st century, where people are just bringing one more, bringing one more, bringing one more. I pray that that's what starts to happen. I pray that we begin to realize that my neighbor, my friend, my uncle, my coworker might just benefit. Just come see. It's kind of like Philip going to Nathaniel and saying, come see. So all night long, they're bringing people to Jesus, and the whole town gathered at the door, and Jesus healed many who had various diseases. He also drove out many demons, but he would not let the demons speak because they knew who he was. It wasn't time for everyone to know that he was the Son of God, that he was the Messiah. It's got to be a slow roll. It's got to be a slow teaching. He's got more to do. But I just want you to realize that Mark's depicting to a Roman people, to let's say a Gentile people of today. The government's not going to do it. Banks aren't going to do it. They're all going to take advantage of you. They're all robbing you. There's only one source for all that you need. It's the God of the universe who created you, and the Jesus who saved you, and the Holy Spirit who wants to direct and guide you. Not only do we have to get out there and be invitational, but we got to pray the Spirit goes before us and awakens hearts to say, all right, I'll come. I'll come. What if? Theoretically, guys, what if 20 to 25 new people were invited to Firmly Rooted every Sunday by somebody? And let's say out of those 20 to 25 people, 5 or 10 experience some type of healing, some type of deliverance, some type of chain breaking. And so they stay in the game. And they become part of what the group that goes out and gets the next 20, 25. And what if that process just keeps going? It did, right? Gentlemen, it did. It's how Jesus' ministry worked. He didn't go running to find people. People came to him. People brought people to him. And the best way that we can do that in the 21st century is invite someone to church, invite someone to a men's group, invite someone to a women's group, invite someone to something where they get to hear the truth. They know they're going to be entering into a religious perspective, but why not listen to it? You're listening to all the other perspectives out in the world and they're not working for you. Maybe this one might. It's that maybe. I'm not trying to jam it down your throat. I'm just telling you it's helped me. It might help you. Just come see. Just come see. What would happen in our community if 20 to 25 people every Sunday were new? And then some of them received healing, some of them received, had chains breaking spiritually in their lives. Imagine their excitement. And imagine the excitement within Firmly Rooted. And so more people go and more people come and more people go and more people come. Before you know it, we wouldn't have a building big enough. More importantly, this community would begin to change because people are changing. You can't change a community from the outside in. You change it from the inside out. Just a thought for today, that we need to be like Jesus, ready to heal, ready to share, ready to meet a need. And also, we need to be like these people who experienced Jesus' healing and went and grabbed somebody else who needs it, experienced Jesus reconciling their marriages and relationships and going to grab somebody and bring them. All right. I hope that this was a blessing to you guys. Let's see. I saw a couple more guys come on. Chuck, good morning. Brian Flaming, good morning. Bert, good morning. All right, guys. I hope that this devotion was a blessing to you. Have a great day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.